The finale of the Kenobi series is almost upon us, so here are my predictions of what we will see in the last episode. So here are 5 predictions of what is going to happen. Let's get straight into it. Number 1 is that we won't be heading to Alderaan just yet. In Chapter 5 of Kenobi, Rokan tells Obi Wan that the hyperdrive is malfunctioning, meaning that the ship cannot enter hyperspace, making it somewhat impossible to go to Alderaan directly. So what is more likely is that the crew of rebels will have to stop by a nearby planet to pick up the necessary parts, kinda like how Qui Gon and Obi Wan had to stop on Tatooine after the hyperdrive of their ship was damaged in the Phantom Menace. My prediction is that they will have to stop on a nearby planet such as Seleucami or Boz Pity, both of which are in the vicinity of Jabiim. Given that they can only travel in sublight, which is essentially traveling through space without hyperspace, they can't afford to go very far, and to make things more difficult, the Empire is right on their heels. My bet is that they will stop on the planet Boz Pity, and Boz Pity is significant not only because it's close to Jabiim, but it's a pretty significant location in Obi-Wan's Legends story. In Legends, Boz Pity was a planet located in the Mid-Rim and was a pretty important piece in Obi-Wan's adventures. While on the hunt for Asajj Ventress, Obi-Wan would stumble upon a separatist base on the planet. The planet would feature some of the bloodiest battles of the Clone Wars and was also briefly visited by Quinlan Vos, so there is plenty of history to go about there. My second prediction is that Reva is not dead, and we will get to see her again, but this time on Tatooine. Towards the end of episode 5, following Reva's duel with Vader, she gets stabbed and essentially left for dead. But judging by the way things were left off with Reva discovering the secret of Anakin's children on Tatooine, it sounds like she will make it out alive somehow. So what is more likely is that in the finale we will get to see Reva make another appearance, perhaps confronting Kenobi about the truth on Tatooine. This may or may not result in a duel between the two. It's entirely possible for a character to go off into numerous directions following her defeat in episode 5, so we will have to wait and see. Speaking of duels, this leads me to my third prediction. Obi-Wan and Vader will get another duel. Now, we did get some kind of a duel back in episode 3 on Mapuzo, but if we're being honest here, it was a pretty one-sided battle and not at all the epic climactic battle we've come to expect. So, since the Empire is still hot on the heels of the Rebels, it sets up the possibility of another duel between the two. A duel that would be on much even footing now that Kenobi has regained parts of his former self and has seemingly rebuilt his confidence. So fingers crossed for Kenobi vs Vader Part 2. My next prediction is regarding the appearance of Qui Gon Jinn. Now we know that throughout the show, Kenobi has been trying to make contact with the ghost of his former master, but things don't seem to be working out. So perhaps in a last moment of clarity, or when Obi-Wan urgently needs to seek guidance, the ghost, or at least the voice of Qui-Gon, would appear aiding him in his quest. I think this is something that really needs to happen, so I'm really holding out for this one. Of course, the biggest question is how will it all end? How will this show tie up the plotlines without potentially retconning or putting the events of A New Hope into question? Especially given how Vader has chased Obi-Wan so intensely throughout this entire show, and given that Obi-Wan lives until A New Hope, the biggest question is why would Vader stop chasing or searching for his old master? After all, if Vader knew that his most hated enemy is still alive, it seems rather uncharacteristic of him to stop searching or seeking revenge. So unless one of them dies, which isn't going to happen, I think Kenobi is going to have to fake his own death. By faking his own death and making Vader believe that he is dead, Kenobi would effectively throw the Empire off his trail and keep the location of Luke safe. Which means that when they next meet on the Death Star and Vader says,
"I sense something, a presence I've not felt since..."
it wouldn't really retcon or change its meaning. Instead, it would add to it with Vader being reminded of the last time they fought, where Kenobi presumably died. Not to mention, it would also add to the line,
"I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master."
With Vader feeling humiliated and essentially schooled by Kenobi after his old master was able to trick him. So I really think that this is the best way to go. So these are my predictions for the Kenobi finale. What do you guys think? Do you have any predictions of your own? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon for more notifications, and I will see you in the next one. I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.